Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1118A, and today's date is November 3rd, 2016, and the title of the episode is The Economy Will Start to Unravel After the Elections. Hold on to your seat. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we are about 5 days away from this election, and what we're seeing right now is the economy, and we've been going over this. The economy is deteriorating very, very quickly. Now, of course, the corporate media, the Obama administration, the central bank, they are going to make it look like that everything is fine because we have the elections coming up. They don't want the economy to collapse during this period because it wouldn't look good for Hillary, it wouldn't look good for the Obama administration, it wouldn't look good for the central banks. And then everyone would go to Trump. So they need to keep everything very level, like there's nothing going on. And this is why we've been looking at the economy all throughout this time, to show that there are things happening that people don't even realize it's happening. People don't even realize that we're in a recession/depression. And we're seeing more stores close, more people being laid off. During this holiday season, Office Depot is going to be closing 65 stores in the fourth quarter. ING is going to be laying off 7,000 people. CVS Health is going to be laying off 600 people. Frontier Communications is going to be laying off 1,000 people. Marvel Technology is going to be laying off 900. Mass Mutual is going to be laying off 150. And what we're looking at right now is that this economy right now, even though the elections are going on, even though they're telling us that everything is fine, behind the scenes, in the shadows, the economy is deteriorating very, very quickly. And this is why I say that once the elections are over, boom, the floodgates are going to open. We're going to be in free fall. Now, is this going to happen the day after? Maybe, maybe not. But at that point, they won't care. And we can see right now that they're not going to be able to hold this economy together much longer. There will be some type of an event, maybe a financial event, that brings this whole thing down. If not, we're going to see more and more people being laid off because we know that this holiday season, it is not going to go well. They're already predicting it's not going to go well. And we'll see by Black Friday, by Cyber Monday, that this whole thing is a complete disaster. We see the U.S. Services PMI for October printed at 54.8. This is the highest since 2015 of November. And we see that employment growth across the services and manufacturing sectors remain one of the weakest seen for over 3 years. Now, we are getting more signs that this economy is approaching this depression. I think we're in a recession right now. We're approaching a depression right now. Because when you take a quick glance at the U.S. auto sector right now, everyone says, ooh, auto sales are up. Look, the bubble has been pushed up. And of course, we know they've been giving loans to subprime people and all of that. But what we're seeing right now, if you look past that and you look beneath the surface, we see that there are other problems. And it's called auto repossessions. And they are soaring. Now, when we look at 2008 and 2009, we see that repossessions were very, very high. Well, today, they're approaching the same levels. And when we see this occur, it means that there are problems. It's another indicator letting us know that we are headed towards this Great Depression, this collapse of the system. When we look at delinquencies, and let's say we look at GM subprime securitizations where there's 31 to 60-day delinquencies, well, they've been on the rise since 2012 and now stand at over 8% of outstanding loans. Ironically, the levels of delinquencies currently being reported look very similar to 2001, 2002, 2008 to 2009. And the indicators that we talked about yesterday, they also resemble what happened back in 2008 and all the prior recessions. We see the year-over-year change in 61-plus day delinquencies. Well, guess what? They're growing at double-digit rates for several months now. Again, another indicator. I mean, the economy is not just going to turn around on a dime. Everything is deteriorating very, very quickly. And each one of these economic indicators that we've looked at, it shows this is what happened in 2008, this is what happened in 2001, this is what happens now. We're in the same exact area. So back then, they called it a recession. Well, if the indicator is equal to or worse off, what do you call it now? Well, they're calling it a recovery. I'm calling it a recession. I'm calling it that we're heading towards a depression. Now, the corporate media is all out there, and they're saying, wow, U.S. factory orders, they're up. Looks like everything's back on track. And when you really look at it, you have to remember, factory orders, they've been declining for 22 straight months. 22 straight months. During the Great Recession, it was something like 15 or so. And when they look, and when we look at these factory orders, they're saying there's a rise of 0.6%. This is a blip compared to what we saw prior to 2008, where factory orders were between 10 and 20, where we saw back in 2010, 2011, where they were between 10 and 20, and now they're nowhere. U.S. factory new orders are down 17% from July 2014 peak of the cycle, and we are now in a downward trend. Again, another indicator. And why did this happen in September? Most likely, they're getting ready for the holiday seasons. And will it last? No. I don't think we're going to get I don't think we should get excited about this little blip, because I can see right now that it's just going to completely fall off by the end of this year, and come January, it's going to be even worse. Remember what happened in 2015 when we came into 2016? The beginning of the year was absolutely awful. Well, we went through an awful year where everything was deteriorating. Come 2017, it's going to be even worse, because we've looked at maybe at what, 12 to 15 different economic indicators, and they're all telling us the same thing. The only thing the government and the central bank have are the manipulated unemployment numbers, the suppression of gold, and the stock market. That's what they're telling us, that's what they're using to tell us that everything is fine. And we're looking at everything else. And guess what? If we go back to 2008, prior to 2008, and we use all of these economic indicators, they were predicting a gigantic market crash in 2008, while the U.S. government, the central bank, hundreds of millions of people believed that the economy was fine. So we're doing the same thing right now, and it's predicting a bond collapse, a stock market collapse, a collapse of the system. And that's what we're seeing right now. We see U.S. productivity continually declining. And if we look back in prior years for U.S. productivity, we see that productivity was pretty darn good from 95 all the way up to the Great Recession in 2008. We had some, little bumps and stuff along the way. But when we look at 2014 going forward, productivity has continually dropped, and it's continually declining. And here we are year on year in negative territory. And we haven't seen this since 1993. And we can see right now that from everything that we've been looking at, from everything that we see, this economy is getting ready to unravel. This economy is getting ready to come down hard. And I do believe that once the elections are done, they're not even going to care anymore. They're just going to let it go. This has already been pre-planned. They already know the economy is doomed. They already know that they can't keep the system up. I mean, we've lost the edge in the Middle East. The petrodollar is dead. There's a new currency on the way. This is going to be a global currency. We're going to see massive dollar devaluations where people are going to lose their pensions. People are going to lose their life savings. And it's going to be very difficult for people to get by. And we're going to see inflation because once the currency is devalued, products are going to cost a lot more money. And this is why everyone needs to have certain items to ride out this storm. Because you don't want to be going to the store, picking up bread if you can even find it, for $50, $60, $70. It's just not possible. And as things get worse, it's going to be worse as time goes on until everything evens out. So we can see right now that this entire economy, from all the economic indicators that we've been looking at, it is getting ready to come down and come down hard. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.